Hi everyone, I'm Kenny McIntosh. We are backstage here at Delete WCPW, and we now have the new WCPW Tag Team Champions, Johnny Moss and Liam Slater. Guys, you two have been tearing it up here in WCPW. We've seen all the stuff that you can do, but we haven't heard from you guys. Why has that been? Why have you guys not been talking so far?
What is there to say when you've nothing to talk about? We haven't proven anything until tonight. Now we can talk, because we prove that we're the best. And they signify this right here. Now we can do as much talking as we want. Before, words mean nothing. When you carry these two gold belts, you can do all the talking you want.
For me, I don't have to do any talking. I just do the listening. Because when you've got a tag team partner and mentor like Johnny Moss, who's been all over the world, there's no point speaking. It's all about the listening.
This is why I picked Liam Slater. Because why have you picked Liam Slater to be a tag team partner, Johnny? I'll tell you why right now. He's a shooter of the game. He listens. He's done everything I've told him. We've worked as a team. And tonight, we proved why we're all business. There you go. What more to be said?
You've heard it here. The tag team division just got a whole lot hotter.
The new tag team champions about to make their first defense against these two, who have earned the right to be the first challengers. And what challengers they are.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall. It is for the WCPW Tag Team Championship. Considering at this time the challenges. Top round weight of 395 pounds. This is the team of the Cruiserweight King John, the Kiwi Massage Travis Banks, Strong Style Collective.
Banks and Dunn, two of the nastiest people, two of the meanest, two of the most aggressive individuals you could hope to meet.
But two of the most focused on inflicting pain and focused on being the WCPW Tag Team Champions. Tonight might be the night. Could be the shortest title reign ever.
These two were part of the AP Triple T, the tag team tournament, the winners of which are about to enter the arena with championship gold around their waist. Johnny Moss and Liam Slater are on top of the mountain in our tag team division, and their reign starts now. Banks and Dunn trying to intimidate Slater, but I found a smile coming across my face as you saw Slater and Moss holding those belts aloft as they entered the arena there. There's something very satisfying about two men who have been so respectful to each other, and in Moss's case been so generous with his time to Slater. And to see that all pay off and for those two to become the tag team champions, well, that's really quite a story.
Well, we followed the story of Gabriel Kidd and Prince Amin and how that has grown. But almost, our focus on that has been at the expense of the incredible mentoring of Johnny Moss to Liam Slater. Moss has taken Slater under his wing, massive wing as it is, and we saw at Delete WCPW that tutelage paying off. Biggest win of Slater's young career, and what a match it was as well. Incredible tag match.
Yeah, fans around the world talking about that match between Slater and Moss and the Coffey brothers for the tag team titles. On the same night though, the two defeated semi-finalists from that tournament, the Strong Style Collective and Prospect, had a number one contenders match. Banks and Dunn were victorious in that match on our pre-show, and that's what led us to where we are now. The Strong Style Collective with the first opportunity to knock Moss and Slater off their perch as champions.
And one of the big advantages the Strong Style Collective have in every match is a level of intimidation. You know when you're in the ring with two men that love to hurt people, that you're probably going to get hurt, and it intimidates an opponent. How the hell do you intimidate Johnny Moss? This guy's like, I don't know, Godzilla. but scarier.
Well, the Coffee brothers tried to intimidate Moss.
It's not happening.
No, it didn't happen. It was an impossible task even for them, and the Coffees are pretty intimidating guys. Slater was unable to stop Banks from getting to the rope. It feels like every time we see Slater, he's learned a new hold.
I told you before, he's been training not just under Moss, but at the advice of Moss with Marty Jones, former World of Sport legends. In fact, current World of Sport legends. He's a legend forever. And that training has really seeped into the fibre and DNA of Liam Slater as a performer. In that ring, he is a tremendous wrestler. But the Kiwi buzzsaw, I mean, let's not forget, this guy has come all the way over from New Zealand to kickstart his career in pro wrestling in Europe, and he's done a damn fine job.
Slater is trying to wear Banks down with that head scissors. And Banks once again using his feet to break that up. Slater needs to be aware of where he is in the ring if he wants to keep those holds locked in for longer.
He wants to be aware how close he is to Pete Dunne. Dunne might be hungry. Take a bite out of him.
One of the more bizarre phenomena in WCPW is Dunne's insistence on biting the fingers of his opponents. I hope we don't see that in this contest. Slater.
Oh, it's almost like an Ogoshi judo throw there, using the arm.
He's into a pin and just a 2. Banks gets out. The Kiwi buzzsaw.
Wow.
Victim of a high hip toss there. Lateral press by Slater. Again, Banks out of it. Slater has been dominating this early exchange.
Bars the arm, goes straight for the fingers. Just watch the way Slater works a hold. Look at this. This guy is like a mathematician of chain wrestling. And for such a young man, that's impressive. Look, look.
Got Banks completely tied up in knots here.
If you mix chess with Twister, Liam Slater would be a grandmaster.
How would you mix chess with Twister?
Chister.
Think of the name.
Oh.
Monkey foot by Slater, and Banks able to scuttle over to his corner, where he is seeking sympathy from the bruiserweight, not the most sympathetic man in the world. Dunne is demanding that Slater tag in Johnny Moss.
And for a moment, let's appreciate the sheer size of the testicular, well, the balls, I'm going to say it, of Pete Dunne calling in Johnny Moss. I mean, you know you've got to be tough to have a tattoo on your kneecap, but to call in Johnny Moss, I mean, although technically, if you take a chunk out of Johnny Moss, it's going to have a higher protein value because of all that muscle. Perhaps it's a culinary tactic.
Very scientific. Alex Shane, the nutritionist now.
Well, I was Professor Biology before, so...
Captain.
Captain, all right. Somebody drew a picture of it, I quite liked it.
Don't promote yourself. Moss ready for Dunne, but Dunne is, I think, starting to wonder whether it was an overly bold decision to insist on going in there against Moss. To be fair to Dunne, though, he's had plenty of success around the country recently, winning the Progress title in London back in November. This is a new tag team venture for him, along with Banks. They've only been together a couple of months, and with mixed results so far.
Winning that Progress title shows you that Dunne is an incredible singles competitor, and now he's in a tag team as well with another incredible singles competitor. But are they spending the amount of time? Hold on, is he going for the? Look at that. He was going for the fingers of Moss. If you can't take the whole arm, go for a finger.
He's got his gum shield in. How's he going to eat anyone's fingers?
Well, it takes it out, mate. It's not that complicated. It's not like algebra.
It's maths now as well. Maths, biology, nutrition. Veritable encyclopedia this week. Dunne trying to counter his way out of these holds from Moss, and Moss with looks like a nerve grip on the shoulder.
And look at that. He's trying to work on the tendon, the arm tendon there of Johnny Moss, but it's not going to work. It's an interesting strategy. Pete Dunne knows if you go for a finger, it's a weak spot. And the bigger and more muscular your arms are, often the tendons are weaker. And Dunne went for that, but it didn't work. Because Moss is basically a machine. He's a machine in a meat suit with a high protein content.
You've lost me now. I think Dunne wishes he'd lost Johnny Moss, because Moss is refusing to budge. Dunn's going to do more damage to his shoulder than he is to Moss trying this, I promise you.
Look at the size of Moss.
It's not just the size either, it's the absolute
Size.
sheer 100% intensity of this Cumbrian man mountain.
The Cumbrian muscle mountain.
I thought he said he was a robot or a machine.
He's a machine with muscles, that's what I was trying to say
A
earlier.
mountain and a machine. Anyway, Banks and Dunn both try it. It still doesn't work.
The Terminator, he had muscles and was a machine. But it was played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, not the skinny
though, was
one.
he?
All right, you're just splitting hairs now.
Moss is going to send Dunn to the rope. Slater coming off with a kick into the side of the head. Was that enough to beat Dunn? And not quite. Banks was worried. Banks was thinking about jumping in there to save his partner. In the end, Dunn was able to escape on his own.
And quick tags in and out by the tag team champions. It's how they won those belts. And it's the strategy they're going to use to maintain them. Oh.
Moss will go for a cover again. Once again, only two.
And it is an interesting strategy. Slater with the quick movements. Moss with the setups. These guys have learned how to work with each other so well, and that's why they're the champions. Whoa.
That hip toss.
Wow.
Cover by Moss. Kick out by Banks.
Like a flip toss.
Obviously the... What's this from Moss? Half crab on Banks. Half crab. Hasn't been able to sit down and get the leverage he wants. Now he does. Does Moss, and hang on.
Oh, it's a full crab. 2 halves.
Slater mimicking his partner with the same move on Dunn.
And they're telling each other, do not tap. Look, they're stopping each other from tapping. Good, now that's tag teaming.
Well, Slater and Dunn shouldn't actually be in there. Referee John Myers doing a good job enforcing the rules. Here comes Slater. I was about to say a minute ago, the pressure obviously on Moss and Slater not to disappoint in their first title defence, but what about the pressure on Dunn and Banks with so many great tag teams here in WCPW now? A loss here is going to send them right to the back of the queue when it comes to championship shots in the future.
It's a great point. So great, in fact, I've got nothing more to add to it.
Thank you.
Other than it's a lot of pressure.
A compliment.
But think about this. Think of the pressure that it puts on the challengers, because if they lose here, they're going to have to wait for ages for another title shot.
That's what I said.
Oh, it's definitely a great point then.
Irish whip sends Slater into the corner. What's Dunn doing? Dunn grabbing the right ankle of Slater. That's a distraction.
Oh, springboard!
Takes full advantage. Cover on Slater, new champions. Not quite.
Wow. The Kiwi buzzsaw. I tell you what, because he's such a great scientific wrestler, because he's such a great striker, you often forget just how agile he is. But when he hits a springboard kick like that, then you realise this guy is a serious, serious threat.
Oh, Banks is the real deal. No doubt about that. Been so impressive since he moved over here from New Zealand just over a year ago and taking the British scene by storm. And now with this international exposure he's getting by being part of WCPW, the future is bright indeed for Travis Banks. Right now, he needs to focus on the present. His partner is very much in control of Liam Slater.
And this crowd on the side of Moss and Slater, I think they respect this kid.
Well, what's not to respect? Slater dropped hard on his shoulders. Banks went for a cover, but it was a unnecessarily cocky cover from Banks, and it antagonised Moss enough to draw him into the ring.
You say, oh, look at this. Great double team in there. And you say what's not to respect by Slater. Oh, and he looks like he's biting the face of Slater. You say what's not to respect to Slater. But often, when you have a team where there's one guy that is just so much bigger, so much more intimidating and dominating than the other partner, it's often the instinct of fans to not so much root for the smaller guy, but root for the bigger guy. But Slater has not let down his end of the bargain.
Slater's got his bell rung from both sides.
He's got a bell.
It's a metaphor. Obviously English isn't one of your subjects. Dunn is taking the time to taunt Slater, and he stomps on the hand there.
And done.
Oh, no.
So methodical. Look at this. Starts with a hand, moves up to the elbow joint.
Imagine how painful that is. How painful to be stamped on the elbow from that position.
Put your arm on this commentary table. Come on, let's do a little experiment. I'll show you.
No.
I'd love that. I bet Slater doesn't love this. Look at that. God, he's being pulled apart.
Oh, and Don is twisting the nipple of Liam Slater. I can't believe I'm even saying that. There is absolutely no dirty trick, no underhanded strategy that is beyond Pete Dunne. He will do anything, absolutely anything, to inflict pain on his opponent. Quick tags now from the challengers. You've seen several of them in the last couple of minutes. It's Banks now who's the legal man. Once again, Slater crawling underneath, goes for the tag, and Dunne cleverly blocks him off. But then look at this. Look at that. Biting the fingers. Gross. Absolutely gross.
Dunne has worked a number. It took a while, but he has finally worked a number on Johnny Moss. Moss needs to control himself. But how do you calm down a volcano? Can't put a lid on it.
He's a volcano now, is he?
He's like a volcano. He's ready to erupt now at any moment. He's the Vesuvius of WCPW. Or another big volcano.
All right, Dunne going for a suplex. Slater is trying to counter, get his way out of this, and he's successful. But Dunne biting again. Referee. Yeah, well, the damage has been done. Referee, come on. Our official should have seen that a lot earlier.
The damage hasn't been done. The damage is Pete Dunne.
French powerbomb by Slater. Both men are down. Maybe this is the opportunity that Slater needs to tag in Moss. This could be a pivotal moment in this tag team title defense.
He's got him in. Oh my God! In orbit.
Great agility from the big man. Moss with the clothesline. Moss overhead belly to belly on Dunne. And the same for Banks. It's 2-on-1. Johnny Moss doesn't care. Moss will go for the German suplex.
He's gone all Pompeii.
No. Oh my goodness. My goodness. A double German suplex. What strength. What unadulterated power from Johnny Moss.
The volcano, Dave Bradshaw, has officially erupted.
Moss willing the Strong Style Collective to their feet. If I were them, I'd stay on the ground.
He's going for that double suplex there. But the Strong Style Collective holding on for dear life, but keep your eye. Hold on. Keep your eye on Liam Slater scaling to the top now.
They see him, but too late. High crossbody on both members of the Strong Style Collective by Liam Slater. As this crowd in Newcastle wills him on, but he may not be able to hear them anymore. Banks just knocked him silly with that super kick. Dunne doing a number on him as well, and this is their trademark move. Finish!
But Slater turned into a DDT.
Finished so many opponents that way to the Strong Style Collective, but hang on. Moss has Banks on his shoulders. Slater makes the tag. Slater going to use Banks as a springboard. Dunne may have knocked Slater silly, and he's done the same to Moss.
Well, technically Liam Slater wasn't the legal man there, so I don't even know if they'd have hit that move, that the pin would have been legal. But keep your eye. Oh God! Wow.
Moss sent Banks into his own partner.
Well, that didn't work out well for the Strong Style Collective. They were a collective, but in the completely wrong way.
Johnny Moss going to go to the ropes, and Banks and Dunne. Wisely, they've seen him fly over the top to the outside before, and they knew they couldn't possibly allow that to happen. Pop-up powerbomb from Moss. Once, twice.
That gave a whole new meaning to the power part of a powerbomb.
Scary strong.
And the bomb part.
Scary strong is Moss. What's this? Moss and Slater forcing the powerbomb by Dunne on Banks.
There's the tag, and now it's legal. Slater going to the top on his partner, on his opponent, and a headbutt.
Slater, headbutt. The cover on Banks. This will do it, and it does. Moss and Slater retain the tag team titles.
WCPW Tag Team Champions. The team are the Vigilante Johnny Moss and the Lazarus Kid, Liam Slater.
in any wrestling promotion in the world than the current WCPW tag division. But right now, and perhaps for a very long time, based on tonight's performance, Johnny Moss and Liam Slater are right at the top of that division.
There is no question, and there should be none in anyone's mind as to whether or not Liam Slater and Johnny Moss's tag team title win was a fluke. Right there you saw the proof. These guys are the champions in every single sense of the word, and as you said, Dave Bradshaw, it's going to take a lot for anybody, and I do mean anybody from anywhere around the world, to overthrow them.
Slater and Moss victorious on Loaded. Much more still to come. Up next, the second in the best of 7 series between Primate and Rampage. This is going to be wild. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Loaded. Standing out here in the streets. Now, does this really look like the place that James R. Kennedy would be? But you see, there is method. There is always method to my madness. It's cold out here, Rampage. Cold, just like the hospital bed that you will find yourself laying in tonight after Primate, the Primate, gets finished with you. Now, I told you, son, I told you that these little trials that I had in mind for you, they were going to get increasingly more violent, increasingly more dangerous. So tonight, no holds barred. And you will find out firsthand, Rampage, that the Primate, he ain't a monster that lives under your bed. He is a monster that...
Look at... Hey, Jay, where are you doing, man?
Guys.
Looking for you all over the building.
Guys, bring it in, guys. Are you okay? You good?
No, not really.
I'm not good.
Speak to me. You know I'm always here to speak to you.
This is the thing. You're not always here. This is the thing. I'm trying to stay calm. I know you told me to stay calm. Right. The past how many times the tag tournament you weren't there, we lost.
Yeah.
The other matches. This match we just had. We lost because you weren't there. Your mind.
My mind is always on business.
Else.
My mind is always on busy. You've got me flustered now, Gracie. My mind is always on.
Don't get flustered. It's all good.
Thanks,
we need some explanations off you, man. Come on. We need to hear.
My mind is always on business. Because business is good. Business drives me. It motivates me. You know I'm a businessman. You get it. You know. You're a businessman too. I'm busy. That's all. Nothing malicious.
When you're not there, we just keep losing, and we need you there. Like, that's it.
Our business is taking a little bit of a negative in the stock market just because we haven't got the big Wolf of Wall Street doing the bidding. I just need you there, man. That's all I need.
I appreciate that, guys. I really appreciate that you've come out here. You've found me. You're standing in the coals. You've just finished a match. But I'm busy. I can't repeat that anymore. Speaking of which, guys. Hello? Yeah,
Can
guys.
Please, just 2 more minutes?
2 minutes, son.
2 more minutes, please. Just,
No, I meant 2 minutes for him. I'm going to need to go, guys. I'm going to need to... I'll catch up with you again. Okay. You guys are going to be at the bar later on, is that right?
Yeah.
You know us. That's where we are.
That's us.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, see you, Bob. Take care.
We'll get you a drink in, yeah?
Thank you.
We'll get you...
Call us.
Because he's busy.
Busy. Again.
He's busy.
Again.
I need a drink.
Yeah, let's go.